Every time that we have found a new set of tools, we get an insight into something that we've never imagined possible in Amazon. I think LIDAR is one of these things that's going to completely change how we understand the landscape. The trees have always been what kept us from understanding what's happening in the Amazon, and now we can see through them. Researchers have made a serious discovery. The Amazon isn't as desolate as once believed. They have uncovered evidence of a civilization that might have gone completely under our radar for thousands of years. The Amazon is a colossal mystery, and it's one of the subjects that I explore in depth in America, only to turn up as a mystery. Now, these evidences lead us to the doors of the people that once lived in a thriving society, even before the Maya and Aztec civilizations. I explored the AL mystery in considerable depth. Everybody's heard about the Aztec, everybody's heard about the Maya, but before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture referred to as the ALX. What are the secrets of the civilization hidden deep within lands that have never been explored before? Is this another proof that advanced civilizations have long lived on Earth without us ever knowing? He said, "We don't know exactly why these places were made. They were made so long ago, but we respect them. We revere them." Join us as we dive into this ancient discovery and what else it might reveal. History of mysteries at the Amazon, the topic of ancient civilizations has always been an interesting one within scientific communities. The need to uncover the secrets that might give us a clue about our past has always been rampant in humans. When it comes to the topic of the Amazon forest, the need multiplies tenfold. Why is that? Well, the thick jungle of the Amazon hasn't been explored very much, leaving most, if not all, to the imagination. And the human imagination runs wild. The Amazon, which occupies 5.5 million square kilometers, is a dense forest with various species of wildlife and plants residing inside. However, due to the dense and thick nature of the lush forest, it becomes hard to trek and explore the region as deeply as we would have liked. That is why much of the Amazon forest remains untouched. That does not mean it stops people from trying to explore the rainforest, though. One such person, an explorer named Percy Fawcett, was brave enough to take the leap of faith. It was the year 1925, and Percy was on his 8th daring expedition into the depths of the jungle. He was driven by a single ambition: uncover the long-lost ruins of a fabled city he called Z at all costs. According to years of legend and tales, centuries ago there lived a city deep inside the Amazon. In fact, there was more than one. It was a network of magnificent cities that thrived deep within the lush rainforest, all with their very own distinct cultures, traditions, economies, and customs. Driven by curiosity and a need to discover such legendary cities, Fawcett kept up his relentless search inside the difficult terrain of the Amazon. However, despite his best efforts, he never stumbled upon Z or any other ancient metropolis. The disappointment with no returns from the relentless searches led to the scientific community denying the existence of these cities for decades. Scholars missed the idea of cities thriving in the rainforest, deeming it too hostile and remote to sustain such civilizations. However, the tide began to turn when scientists unearthed something that contradicted their claims. They interestingly found intriguing clues scattered throughout the Amazon. What kind of clues, you might ask? Picture something like mysterious ditches, mounds, and other evidence of human presence turning up at the most random places amidst the foliage. These clues always hinted at one thing: someone was there. Not just someone, but something more like entire cities with large populations hinting at the presence of ancient human settlements. These discoveries sparked interest in Amazon exploration anew. Now the researchers had something they did not have before: hope. Along with hope, they had a hunch that this time they would be able to solve the age-old mystery of the lost cities. In order to understand the origins of these mysterious civilizations in their full capacity, we need to take a portal back to the European colonization in America. You see, when the conquistadors were traversing the continent, they came across many awe-inspiring cities. Cities like Tenochtitlan and Cusco were explored, revealing their exceptional feats of engineering and urban planning. All of it was thanks to the crafts of indigenous people. However, as they further explored these cities, they heard of whispered secrets surrounding another city, one that they had not explored yet. The name of the place was El Dorado, hidden inside the Amazon, and it absolutely fascinated European imaginations. How could it not? A golden city that is hidden within a thick, lush forest, untouched and unexplored, signed people up for a series of expeditions. That is exactly what ended up happening, as countless expeditions were prompted in search of the legendary city. What they did not take into account was that exploring the Amazon was no easy task. What ended up happening disappointed the explorers big time. Their fervent quest for the hidden city came up empty-handed. No matter how they searched or how hard they tried, their dreams of El Dorado were shattered by the harsh reality check delivered by the rainforest. But traces of their journeys were shared through stories and accounts of the alleged cities, their harvests, and the tantalizing dream of conquering the unconquered. These stories gave birth to a generation of people with big ambitions, one of which was Percy Fawcett. Undeterred by their past failures, Fawcett went on a journey to find what the people before him couldn't. Though his final fate remains a mystery, Fawcett's legacy endures as a testament to human curiosity and resilience. This led to the following decades joining in on his quest for exploration in the Amazon, leading us to many discoveries. These discoveries practically confirmed the fables about the lost cities. From the fertile soils of Terra Preta to intricate networks showing signs of ancient settlements along the Xingu River, it became clear really quickly that those rumors of cities were more than just mere rumors. Archaeologists used this evidence to piece together a somewhat sequenced timeline of forgotten history. A timeline showcasing thriving communities that coexisted with each other and the rainforest. However, the vast rainforest has not been completely explored yet. Even to this day, the beautiful place is massive, so much so that discoveries are still turning up. For example, earlier this year, we saw another discovery that made researchers reevaluate everything they had known about the Amazon. It was not easy, though, since the Amazon is undoubtedly one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. Close to 3 million species are currently living there, with dense vegetation and unforgiving landscape. Due to this landscape, it was largely believed that the Amazon was never a host to a large human civilization. We were proven wrong once again. The evidence of how wrong we were is presented as recent research from the French National Center for Scientific Research, where scientists have uncovered ruins of an ancient civilization living in what's presumed to be a thriving city. These ruins were found along the foothills of the Andes, near eastern Ecuador's Pano Valley. The new research was obtained by mapping close to 115 square miles of the rainforest with light detection and ranging LIDAR technology. The team then discovered evidence that a 2500-year-old settlement was present there. This settlement, named Sangay, possibly housed 10,000 or even 100,000 people at one point. But it's a mystery. More work needs to be done, and much more needs to be surveyed. Thanks to LIDAR, that can be done non-invasively. We can spot these things, and very small teams can go in and do a bit of excavation there and figure out what was going on. I think the story is going to go back further and further into the past. The research was led by Stephen Rostin and was published in early April 2024 in the journal Science. A co-author of the study, Antoine Dorisson, mentioned how things change now that we have this discovery. In an interview with BBC, she explained how the way people look at possible Amazonian civilizations, which is usually seeing them as people living naked in huts and participating in nature as Neanderthals, has changed. Now that we have this discovery, there is irrefutable evidence of urban societies living in the Amazon. Societies that possibly lived around 500 BCE until ending their time between the ages of 300 and 600 CE. The technology that was utilized is an advanced one, having the ability to penetrate the dense canopy that acts as a barrier to the mysteries of the Amazon forest. Another bonus discovery that came as a result of this technology was that we were able to not just see plazas, streets, drainages, or platforms, but also an actual road system. The city found in Amazon was equipped with a complex road system rivaling the ones we have today, making scientists question the extent of the technological advancement of this society. Quite a shocking discovery indeed. What makes this more interesting is that this system of road networks was connected to many urban centers, mirroring the networks in the Maya in Mexico and the way Guatemala organized their urban networks. Additionally, the roads were also observed to be nearly straight, even containing near-perfect right angles, displaying a level of advancement in the realms of construction previously thought impossible in the Amazonian terrain. Not much has been discovered about the actual society living in these cities yet, but archaeologists now have a deeper understanding of the network of societies in the Amazon. Moreover, their diet possibly included maize, beans, cassava, and sweet potatoes, according to the LIDAR scans of their fields, with an additional sweet beer, chicha, being discovered. However, this is still the tip of the iceberg. According to research, close to 90% of Amazon's history is hidden in the dark. That brings us to what we are going to be discussing today. A civilization found that might precede that of the Maya and the Aztecs, the lost civilization of the Amazon. According to Graham Hancock, a British writer who wrote masterpieces such as Fingerprints of the Gods, the mysteries within the unexplored part of the world, especially the Amazon, are endless. Speaking on the podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, Hancock dives into some of the biggest mysteries about the unexplored world right below our noses. Deep in the fall of 2003, something deeply concerning was revealed as a result of heavy rain in the ruins of the metropolis of Teotihuacan. This place was studded with pyramids dating back to the era before the Aztecs, located around 30 miles northeast of Mexico City. As the rain drained away the surface, a nearly 30-ton wide sinkhole was revealed at the Temple of the Plumed Serpent in Teotihuacan in Mexico. Now, a sinkhole showing up out of nowhere is always a cause for concern, so a prompt investigation was launched. Amidst the investigation, archaeologist Sergio Gomez decided to descend into the sinkhole, and in doing so, he stumbled upon something much, much bigger. He discovered a tunnel made of stone. That was not the most interesting part, though. This tunnel was not just a feat of nature, instead it was man-made. A man-made tunnel blocked by immense stones showing up out of nowhere. How was this possible? This new discovery stumped many scientists, and now a deeper investigation had to be executed promptly. Ground-penetrating radar was used to firstly confirm the tunnel's existence. Secondly, it was used to determine how long the actual tunnel was. Gomez confirmed that the tunnel ran approximately 330 feet from the citadel to the Temple of the Plumed Serpent. Archaeologists had found a narrow tunnel underneath the Temple of the Sun before, so theorizing that this was a mirror tunnel of some sort that led to a chamber beneath the Temple of the Plumed Serpent was not too far of a stretch. Upon further research, it was found that this tunnel dated back to 2,000 years ago and was now sealed with boulders. Why was it sealed? What was it hiding? According to further research, it seemed as if the boulders were put there to seal it intentionally. This confirmed Gomez's suspicion that whatever the tunnel was hiding was meant to stay in the dark, away from peering eyes forever. The mystery stays consistent with the place it was found in Teotihuacan. It has long been deemed one of the biggest Mesoamerican mysteries. Even its name is a mystery. Teotihuacan roughly translates to the place where men become gods, in the language of the Aztecs, known as Nahuatl. It is speculated that it was the Aztecs who likely discovered and stumbled upon this deserted city near the 1300s. However, by that point it had possibly been abandoned for centuries. This cemented the fact that a powerful ancient civilization must have once lived here. That is not the only frustrating mystery about the unexplored world, though. There have been many cities, especially in the Amazon, that were found later in life, either through accident or intention, that shocked the explorers. One of the biggest examples of that is the city of Cuicugu, which might possibly be the same as the widely popular The Lost City of Z. Why is that so? Since there is no substantial amount of proof to concretely say they are both the same place, we cannot make definitive statements. However, there are a lot of clues to hint to this conclusion. As the story goes, after Percy Fawcett was lost during his expedition to the Amazon, many people thought he was murdered. As people searched further, it turned out that Fawcett had been in contact with various tribes and other civilizations. People that did mention Fawcett meeting them, living with them, and generally being friendly. It is through these searches that there was a renewed purpose of finding the lost cities inside the Amazon. So the search started. The top motive of the search was the city of Cuicugu, a relic from the past. It was believed to be near an Indian civilization deep within the Amazon rainforest in the southeast area of the Xingu River, Brazil. The most interesting thing about this site was how Portuguese explorers who had been to these areas wrote about a site identical to Cuicugu in their research known as Manuscript 512. This manuscript shares accounts about a great city. As the research continued, the Portuguese explorers found a large gate to this city mentioned before, surrounded by huge houses and establishments. Moreover, there was no temple found in the city. Just what was this mysterious city with no residents? Magnificent plazas, fountain pools, and a complex network of streets. The site, first discovered by Michael Heckenberger, has 28 towns and villages encompassing an area of around 77,000 square kilometers. It is speculated that the site could house around 50,000 people, as an estimate. It is believed that this civilization existed around 1,500 years ago, settling back into the area again some 400 years ago. What stands out about this civilization was that they were quite advanced, building circular plazas of about 150 meters in cities, trenches, and palisades. Not just that, their towns and settlements were connected by wide, firmly established roads. Pedestrian bridges were set on the highways with rivers beside them, and these rivers could be crossed by canoes. How did this civilization primarily survive? Farming, to be more specific. They built dams, fields, and fish ponds to sustain their living. Some traditions of raising fish had been found during the research, and these traditions have been continued by their successive tribe, the Cuicuro. The Cuicuro inherited much of the traditions of their predecessors. Unfortunately, as the 16th century rolled around, the inhabitants of Cuicugu began abandoning the place right as some European explorers started settling in. and as an unassuming consequence, spreading plague originating from their settlements. This plague had dire consequences, as nearly two-thirds of the population was wiped out following the outbreak. Soon after, the Amazon engulfed the city with thick vegetation until 1743, when the Portuguese explorers stumbled upon the ruins. Consequently, it was named the City of Z by the explorer Percy Fawcett. The unearthing of these civilizations exposes our misunderstanding or lack of understanding of our past. So many civilizations have come and gone, and yet some are never properly discovered. One such civilization hidden in plain sight was called the Olmec civilization. The thing with a civilization as old and mysterious as the Olmec is that diving into their history and culture brings up a lot of questions. We may not have all the answers yet, but we do have a decent understanding of their existence. The Olmecs are calculated to have lived from 1600 BCE to 350 BCE, centering around the Gulf Coast of Mexico. This means that the modern-day states of Tabasco and Veracruz in Mexico would have been their resting place. Their end in 350 BCE is usually attributed to environmental factors that might have made the place unlivable for humans. This mysterious civilization was best known for one thing: the giant 20-ton stone heads carved and quarried to possibly commemorate their kings. How did they get this name? It is actually an interesting story. Since we do not know a lot about this civilization, we had to name them ourselves. Their name, Olmec, came from an Aztec word that means the rubber people. Why was rubber chosen as their name? Well, it was due to the simple fact that the Olmecs mostly traded rubber throughout Mesoamerica. These people might have been the very first to figure out how to use rubber. Converting the rubber latex from the tree to a useful material that can be shaped, cured, and even hardened was not something seen before in other civilizations. And given that they only had a handful of carved glyphs as evidence that survived, we have no idea what name they gave themselves.